Alright, so I checked out the Star Wars TV series on Disney Plus. Granted, I don't have Disney Plus, so I saw it another way. Um, but I checked out Ahsoka um, and her, solo series, whatever. Okay, it moves at a pretty fast pace for me, anyway. I don't know about other people, because I'm seeing a lot of mixed reviews on the fourth episode. Whereas some people love it and high praise it, to others, you know, it sucks. It's terrible dialogue and terrible fight scenes throughout the four episodes. Me, on the other hand, I thought it was fine. I'm not really the biggest Ahsoka fan, nor am I the biggest, Star Wars fan. I do like Star Wars, like I like KOTOR more, although Disney, I love how they're going back and forth. We don't want the extended universe stuff, and we're not going to really do any of that. But then we're going to bring Thrawn into stuff and have him be like the main uh, MacGuffin type guy, villain, almost, you can say. Because basically that's what it is. Ahsoka, if you saw the Clone Wars, you saw Rebels, and animated show. Um, I saw a few. I do have the first season. I haven't really actually sat down and I watched a few episodes, but like I need to go back and watch to really, I guess, invest more. But here, like, I mean, the way it's shot is fine. Uh, the fight scenes, I will admit, or say in my opinion, aren't the best of Star Wars fights. Granted, they're not like George Lucas, where you have cool, um, you know, acrobatic um, sword play, or it's more of somebody, I believe Angry Joe described it as like samurai fighting stances and all that. Um, but yeah, I mean the story is Ahsoka is out in the galaxy. She goes to this one planet to get this map that apparently will unlock the location of Thrawn and possibly Ezra, who, if you haven't seen, Rebels TV show, then you won't know who that is. Though they do explain his connection, well, sort of, but um, you get the gist that they're all friends. I mean, you have Sabine, who was also from Rebels, who's a Mandalorian, but was also trained by Ahsoka, and then at some point Ahsoka decided to ditch her, and Sabine holds a grudge a little bit for that. I love this one character, it's a droid. I love how in Star Wars, if we don't have the physical, human or alien characters to, interest us, they always find a way with some of these robots to be like the upstage of these other characters. I like this character, I forget his name, Yami or Yomi. I thought he was really funny, especially his dialogue with Sabine in some of the episodes, where he's supposed to be encouraging her in a way of trying to get back in the Force, but he ends up insulting her, really, and, bringing her down. But I thought that was funny. So he was the highlight for me anyway. So the pros, I would say, is the android character. Um, Again, now the villains are, I'm not really sure what their motivation is. I guess they want to find Thrawn, and the main like Dark Jedi guy or Sith, whatever he is, or Inquisitor or whatever. He says basically he wants to create a new world or order, but I'm like, just join the NWO, like, or but yeah, and then he has this apprentice And I didn't even know her name throughout the show. I don't even think they do probably say it, but you know, I don't remember them ever saying her name. But I guess apparently her name's Shan or Shen. And she's a one-note emo-looking, evil chick. I would like to know. I now the fourth episode, um, felt more like a series finale, or not series, but a season finale almost to me. It's not, but it feels like it, where it leaves on a cliffhanger. Um, but that's how it felt for me because I thought it was gonna go a certain way where, you know, our heroes are down in the dumps and Disney decides to actually do something cool where they switch the roles of hero to villain and villain to hero. Although they have done villain to hero a lot of times, but it would have been cool if the hero, such as Sabine, actually decides to turn heel for in her eyes the greater good of finding Ezra. Um, because the way it ends, spoilers. Um, Now, I'm not really familiar with the whole other world or two worlds or whatever it's called in the Ahsoka, the Rebels thing, where there's this other dimension of, I guess it's supposed to be the Force, kinda, or it's supposed to be like a time paradox dimension or something. I'm not sure how it's, you know, explained in the Wikipedia of Star Wars or fans word it, but it ends with her saying actually Anakin Skywalker, Chris, Chris, Hayden is back as Anakin. I'll just say that. And I know there's a lot of theories of, oh, that's not really him. It's a delusion or a hallucination. But it's cool to see him back at least, because I actually do like the prequels. Though, I will say Phantom Menace isn't an amazing movie. But I actually don't mind Attack of the Clones. Revenge of the Sith is really good, decent anyway. It has uh, more potential to be actually amazing, but um, I'll take that over Empire Strikes Back. But again, I know that's a really blasphemy statement from a Star Wars fan, because my views on Star Wars, if I am honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Empire Strikes Back. I think it's kind of boring, especially the beginning where they're on Hoth. I get it; it's supposed to be I get they're fighting the Empire over there or whatever, but I was bored. Return of Jedi is my favorite of the original trilogy. The first film, A New Hope, it's there for me. It's fine. Um, but I always, drifted towards the prequels more. I don't know, maybe because I grew up with them more, I guess. Because I saw Phantom Menace pretty early age, in the early 2000s. So, yeah. I like C-3PO, but, he's not in this. Um, or R2-D2. But you have the other... Oh, you also have Elizabeth Winstead, um, who plays also sort of a main character from Rebels. The green chick, really... I think her name is actually Emo, or Elmo, or Elma Fudd. Um, but you have her, she plays a general, and there's stuff with her and Ahsoka grieving over Ezra as well. I did like Sabine's introduction where you have her, you know, she ditches the ceremony of heroes. Instead, she decides to run away, go home. You have this cool scene where it's her racing off against two patrol officers. And she does like this cool stunt under the TIE fighter or T-fighter, whatever they're called. But yeah, I liked her introduction anyway. I will say in the 4th episode when she fights the Dark Jedi's apprentice, whatever, Shin or Shan, that I don't like when in Star Wars, at least in The Mandalorian. I'm not even a big fan of that show. I tried to give it a watch. I gave it 2 or 3 chances of episodes. I just fell out of it. But at least that series doesn't bank on the actor's face, whereas the character of Mandalorian, the whole thing of them is, they fight with their helmets, their armor on, and all that. Whereas this, she gets she gets pushed by the Force, into a tree or whatever, and it knocks her helmet off easily. Which I'm like, I guarantee in The Mandalorian that wouldn't happen, but because we gotta see the actress. So I didn't like that. Also, there's inconveniences or there's inconsistency with the Force, using the Force of, at the very beginning of the 1st episode, we see the Dark Jedi guy and his apprentice, mow down the space station jail to free this Night Sister witch, where he's using the Force of, choking dudes and throwing them against the walls and cutting them down. I'm like, how come you don't do this with Ahsoka or any other, how come even his apprentice ends up choking Sabine from behind at one point? I'm like, why didn't you do that in the fight against her when you were fighting her, but in the woods or whatever? But I guess not. I don't know. Maybe you have to have a certain power level to do that, or you gotta wait for a certain stamina. I guess you gotta have a certain mojo amount, but I don't know. So yeah, this series, it's a mixed bag. There's elements I like. It did go at a fast pace for me anyway, versus a lot of other people are saying it's slow, and I don't know, by the 4th episode where, it feels like a season finale where you're waiting on the next season, but I don't know how many episodes it's supposed to be, because I know we're getting a 5th episode, and so yeah, but it would have been cool if Sabine turns heel, and I don't know, maybe the evil apprentice of the Sith guy turns good, I guess, or gets jealous and ends up, hey, you're not supposed to take her on as a apprentice. I'm your apprentice. And maybe she turns on her master or something, and her and Ahsoka team up or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not. I'll be on the lookout, I guess, for the rest of the season. So, hope you enjoyed this. Leave your comments down below if you have seen the show. And yeah.